Hello, everybody. Sorry for the technical trouble there. That first link I gave you did not work for some reason. I tried to go live and it wouldn't let me, so I just reset the link and everything should be working. So let me bring you guys up on my comments. Just give me a second here. All right, says one of you are here already. So I just typed in the chat. Whenever you guys are here, if you'd like to just say hello, that you're here, that lets me know who is in the room. So it says we only have one person in here right now, so we'll wait just a couple minutes before we get started. We'll see. There's another one, so now we have two. Hey, good to see you, Dennis. Nice to have you. There's two of you in here right now. We're just waiting to see if we're going to get a couple more people joining us. We started doing the afternoons this week instead of the mornings because it allows everybody to really focus on their trading first thing in the morning. And I generally have a whole bunch of stuff going on between the room, my own personal trading, obviously family things. We're still under home quarantine through, I think it's May 13th. Something like that here where we live. So just a lot of craziness in the morning. So I moved all of the live streams, including the public ones on Tuesdays and Fridays, to 2 p.m. And so far, I think it's working out really well. So be interested to see what everybody else thinks. But sometimes I think it's hard to be on the live stream and concentrating on your trading. I know it's hard for me, but I believe it would be hard for everybody. So kind of came up with that idea, ran it by Grayson. Grayson liked it. My wife liked it. So we rolled with it. So on my screen there is ES and what it's currently doing, and that's where we'll start. We'll talk about ES here in a second. There's somebody else just joined us, so hello. So far on these afternoon sessions, we've had between 5 and 7 people out of the premium room, and that was pretty normal for the mornings too. The mornings were probably more like 6 to 8. I realized some people were actually at work. I've talked to a couple of you. Some of you actually can listen at work, but it's hard for you to interact because you're at work. So we totally get that. Totally understand. So let's just, I'm sure we're going to have maybe a couple more joining us shortly. So let's look at ES here and what's been going on. So starting last night at about 11 o'clock at night, we got this big ramp right here, straight up from one side of the trend line to the other side of the trend line, which if I scroll out, I showed you guys this in the room earlier. Let me scroll out. You can kind of see where this comes from. Go a little bit more. There we go. Trying to keep it to where the resolution is a little bit better. So let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this RSI filter off just while we do our live stream. Allows the screen to be bigger. At least it should. I don't know why it's not taking it off. Let's try it again. Give me a second here, folks. RSI. Oh, I know why. It's show study. That's what I got to take off. There we go. That just lets the screen be a little bit bigger. Okay. So, hey, Riz. Good to see you, buddy. So here's where these trend lines come from. So we had two converging trend lines. We had this uptrend And it started on the 13th. Today's the 16th. Okay, and then we have this downtrend, which started on the 14th at 6 p.m. going down. Okay, this one going up. Both of them still moving in their direction, down and then up. And then what does that create? We talk about it, right? Talk about it in here all the time. Creates a tightening range. Okay, so our range is contracting instead of expanding. Now, typically at one point here, as it continues, and as you can see, we did poke out right there, but we immediately dropped right back in. They call that dropping back into the range. But down here on the bottom, we keep respecting it. Excuse me. So we keep respecting the bottom here. And so now we're going to see, do we come back up? Do we just touch it, come back down? Eventually, we don't know when, right? I mean, we could have thought it was going to happen right there, but eventually we'll get a sharp break one direction or the other out of the range. Typically, it'll be a bigger move. Okay, what also lends to that? Our moving averages have converged. So if I scroll back a little bit, look how wide they were. Okay, see this? Here's our 20, here's our 200, and you see the distance between them, and then they converged. So now they have basically been converged since right here. Okay, moving forward. I mean, even though this one went a little bit below and then a little bit above, you see how it's just sort of snaking along the 200. The 200 is relatively flat. So at some point here, we got all this energy building. At some point, it's going to break one direction or the other. So for you guys that like to play breakout trades, that's something that you should be looking for. You might catch a nice scalp. I see we got somebody else joined us, so whoever that is, hello. You might catch a nice scalp off of that. But as you can see, again, I'll just scroll out and then back in real quickly. So we went from this range, that wide, okay, back down, back up, back down, back up, back down, and we're heading back up right now. So you can see how it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And the moves are getting quicker and quicker, right? This was a long, slow move to the top, and then a long, slow move to the bottom, then a quicker move to the top, then a quicker move to the bottom, quicker, 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 okay? Because we're building that pressure as that range contracts. So that is something that you definitely want to be watching for. Will it happen before the end of the day? I don't know, right? Maybe we get into the end of day volatility and we'll get a spike one direction or the other. I mean, that would make sense, but it doesn't mean that it has to happen. Could it happen overnight? Of course. Could happen anytime, right? So we're not predicting when it's going to happen. We just know at some point it is going to happen, right? Because you can't just go continuously tighter and tighter and tighter. Eventually it pops. Eventually it pops. All right, so here was the start of the day. And if you remember, the first move was to the upside. It was kind of slow and deliberate. And then all of a sudden it flushed down. Now, we would know, I just had an alert go off, CODX. I may have got out a little bit early. It's continuing to pop, but it did stall and pull back. And so when I got out, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, when I got out, I still made 51% profit. So I'm absolutely fine. I never have FOMO. We'll check that out here in a little bit. Okay, but back to the morning on ES. So we know, right, that most of the time this first move is, if you want to call it a false move or a fake out or whatever, but we just know what it is, right? Almost every day, a high percentage of the time, the first move out of the gate on ES is not the direction that they're going to go. Okay, and that's exactly what happened today. Slow move to the upside, and then bam, they flushed it down. Now, a lot of people were expecting a flush because, right, the data, the jobless claims. Okay, the numbers were bad. A lot of the economic analysts, experts were saying, you know what, it's better than what we thought. Because I saw a lot of them over the last couple of days. They were forecasting around 5.5 million to 6 million, and it came out, I don't remember the exact number, 5.245 maybe, something like that. So slightly better than what they thought, but still terrible. So you would expect that the numbers would go down, but of course, big money runs it up first, tries to get some people out of the way, they get confused, then they run it down. They end up running it all the way down to the bottom of the trend line. We catch support here, and then what do they do from there? Boom, big bounce, right? Big bounce. So from the low, 27.54.75. So just say 27.55 all the way up to 27.98, we'll say. It was 27.97.75. Okay, so big move quickly. When we say quickly, 31.32, 2 hours, all the way up here, pokes its head out of the top side of the trend line where it closed, right? So then you look for two things. Are they going to drop it back in, which they did, or are they going to come back and retest and go, right? Break, retest, go. Well, they obviously dropped it back in. So they dropped it back in, brought it all the way to the other side of the range, right here. Again, the bottom holds. We get a hammer again, hammer here, and we start back up. And as you can see right now, see what's happening here? Okay, we're heading back up. So far today, and you gotta look at this every single day. We're not respecting the moving averages, right? It's just going right through them, both directions. Okay, so just keep that in mind, because some days they act as really strong resistance or really strong support. And other days, it's almost like they're not even there. Is it because they're converged? You know, who knows, right? Is it because of all this energy that's building? We don't know, but we can just tell, okay, all morning and now into the afternoon, so far they've not been respected, right? Right here's the only, you can see right here it kind of was respected, but since the day has started, it's just been right up and through them and right back down. Okay, so we're going to expect that this is at least going to make it back up here. If it doesn't, I would be surprised, but we'll see. We'll watch it for a minute or two here. I see people have been popping in and out. I'm sure maybe people at work. We'll just keep our eye on this here for a minute. We'll see if we make it up to the top of the trend line. Okay, we're getting above the 20 right now, which is right here. Well, it is giving a little bit of resistance. That's odd that it went right through the 200 and now it's catching a little bit of resistance here at the 20. You would expect more resistance. You would expect more resistance at the 200. Okay, so far it is holding. Again, we'll watch here just for another minute or two, and then we're going to start looking at some other names and some other things. Hopefully, you guys, if you are trading today, have had a good day. Cathal, my man, good to see you. Nice to have you today. So if you guys are trading today, hopefully you've taken some good trades. They don't all have to be winners, right? Something that I'm going to talk about today relates to that. So when you are day trading, scalping, day trades, they don't all have to win, right? And I do try to concentrate on having a higher percentage win rate, what I'm talking about, but you don't have to. So if your risk to reward is really good, and I know Kelsey will watch this. If she's not on here now, she'll watch it later today. And I think what she's starting to figure out is, in these last few days, she's had some really nice winners, but she might stop out 2 or 3 times in a row. As long as those stop outs are small, they really don't matter, right? You guys have heard the analogy, paper cuts, right? Paper cuts do nothing but kind of irritate you. Okay, it's when you cut your throat or slit your wrist, that's when you die, right? Those are big losses. Paper cuts, they're just an irritant. As long as you're getting those bigger wins, they'll more than compensate for those little stop outs. So let's just say that you have 2 or 3 stop outs in a row, then you get a nice win. You know, one of those 5-to-1, 6-to-1, 7-to-1, 8-to-1, type reward to risk trades, you're in perfectly good shape. One of the hardest things for a trader to not only learn but accept is how to take losses, right? Because the human mind doesn't work that way. We're wired that we want to win all the time. We want to win at everything. Everything we do, we want to win, okay? That's how we're wired. But as a successful trader, you have to know and you have to have that ability to accept small losses. It's part of the game. Don't let anybody out there tell you that they win 100% of the time. I've seen some videos where people say they've got a 98% win rate. I've got a 100% win rate. I've got a 99% win rate. It's not true. Nobody has that type of win rate. In my entire trading career, the best month I ever had was 90%, and it happened one time. So for an entire month, I won 9 out of every 10 trades I took. It happened one time. And I've been trading for over 28 years. Okay, and that was 90. And it wasn't, back then I wasn't day trading like I am now, so it wasn't like I took 50 trades that month or 100 trades. That was probably, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, I think it was on maybe right around 17 to 20 trades for the month, something to that effect. It wasn't a huge number, and that happened one time. These people who, and I've watched some of those videos that say that they win 100% of the time or 99% of the time. It's just not true. In fact, I watched a video of a guy that said he has a strategy that never loses. Okay, total clickbait, total lie. Because basically his whole strategy was around averaging down, right? Which you are losing. Okay, when you average down, you're actually adding to a loser, but he just doesn't count those as losses. And so he's got this big, elaborate strategy where, okay, if you do this, you add this much. If you do this, you add this much. And then if you start back up, well, of course, anybody can do that, but you technically are losing, right? You are losing, and you're not going to come out of all of those. I mean, he makes it sound like you're going to win every single one of those. It's not realistic. All right, so enough of that. Okay, let me set some alerts, and then we're going to look at a few other things here. So I'll set one above, and then I'll set one below. We'll have our range covered. We can kind of move on and take a look at some other things. So let's put this one back here. There we go. Whoop. This is another one of those days my TOS is in slow motion. And it just boggles my mind. I know I talk about it all the time, but like I've taken trades on Webull, and I've taken trades on Tastyworks today. No problems with either one of them. Quick as could be, great execution. And then I obviously have my charts and my analyzing tools here on Thinkorswim. And it's just like every time I come back to it, it's like I'm turning the speed way down. Like really slow. So anyway, AMD is one that I have played. I know Kelsey's played. I think Kelsey played. And maybe some of the rest of you did as well. So we had a gap up, right? Then we got this nice move to the upside. Then we sold back down near the 20, and then it sort of flattened out, and we've got this little spike here. So I'll show you. Let me see. I think, let's go 1, 2. where did I enter? Because I sold, I think I scalped it right here. Or maybe it was on the break of this. I entered somewhere right around here, and then I sold right before this resistance level at 57.25. That was my scalp on AMD this morning. I was up more than what I was able to get out of, but I think I made, what was it, 16%? I think I told you. Wasn't anything earth-shattering or anything like that, but you just keep piling those wins up over and over again. My first win this morning on CODX was actually one that I let get away from me a little bit. When I say let get away from me, I had a price target of 11.85. I'm getting ahead of myself because we'll go look at the chart here in a second. But had a price target. We started moving up that way, and we got up to about 11.69, 11.70, and I mean it just dropped. Okay, and I'll show you why it dropped and everything, but I thought we would get higher than that before it dropped. And so it caught me a little bit off guard. I was up 35% at one time, and I only got out with like right around 10% or a little bit less. Maybe it was like 8 or 9%. But I let a bounce go against me. And sometimes it's unavoidable. I still got out green. That's the important thing. And then later, okay, this afternoon, I caught a nice one for 51%. But here was AMD again, so I had this nice move in the morning. Then once it got up here, it sort of flattened out and it sold off. Okay, and again, it's flattened out. Now it's starting to get a little spike again. Okay, is it going to get all the way back up here? I don't know. Let me look at something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nope. Don't really have any inside candles to look at, anything like that. Wait a minute. Is this one? I'm trying to see if we had other trades here. 58.05. 50, yeah, this was an inside candle. Okay, so, and this might have been where Kelsey entered on a break of this inside candle to the downside. And as you can see, beautiful move. See this wick right here. Okay, that made sense. And look, that's where it stalled. This wick right here, that's where it stalled if you come across. Okay, so that's AMD. Amazon again. Okay, Amazon again has had a good day. Wow, this is amazing how slow this is today. Okay, gapped up immediately right out of the gates, just shot up. Then it got up here to a high, leveled out, and it sold back down. Now here is where a lot of people can get tricked. Okay, that's a decent looking hammer, right? But why shouldn't we, and when I say we, I'm talking about simple trading life traders, why shouldn't we get tricked right here? Okay, what didn't happen? We never took the top of it out, right? Never took the top of it out. So there was nothing for us to do, right? Nothing for us to do because it never took the top out on this candle here. Now over here, it barely poked its head above, but I wouldn't be playing that at that point, me personally, right? So that looks good. That was a nice strong drop. Comes up, forms a hammer, and that's decent. I'd like to see the body be just slightly bigger. I'll show you. I showed you guys yesterday. If I come across hammers that I really like, I'll show you. And I think somebody said they did take a screenshot of that one I showed yesterday because it does matter. I mean, the formation of the hammer does matter a little bit. But if you don't take the top of this out here, there's nothing to do. So a lot of times, and I've worked with some traders in the past, and I don't mean this in a negative way because I'm here to help everybody. But some people get so hard-headed that they'll look at that and they'll go, well, you say when you get a hammer after a strong drop that that's a highly probable trade. Yes, it is, once we take the top of it out. But even then, not every single one of them are going to work, right? But if you don't follow the rules, and that's why we have rules, if you don't follow the rules, then you're going to get yourself in trouble. This is called front running. You see this, you open down here, and maybe it starts up that way, and you think, okay, here we go. I'm going to get in early because I'm going to catch an extra couple of bucks, or if you're on a smaller stock, an extra 10 or 15 or 20 cents. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You make a mistake and then it flushes against you and you end up giving a bunch of money back instead of making money, right? And we're all about protecting our capital and taking high probability trades. All right, so that's Amazon. And let's just go through. Let's see here. BA is down today, so let's look at BA. We'll see what's going on here. Okay, so BA had broke through a wedge, came back in, came up to the top, rejected again, and broke back down through. So what it's actually doing is now it went from contracting in a range to now it's starting to expand the range. How do we know that, right? Well, because if we come back over here, this is why I love visuals, right? Here's where we were contracting, here to here to here. Okay, then we finally broke through, came back up, broke through again. So now we're starting to expand. I can take these off. Let me just remove these so they don't confuse anybody anymore. Okay, I can take those off, and now what are we doing? Let me get my right tool. Until something different happens, now we're starting to expand the range. Back to there. Come back to here. And you can extend these out. Extend to the right. Extend to the right. Actually, I need to get this one. I'm going to bring this one up a little bit. Kind of like that. There we go. Okay, now we're starting to expand the range. All right. Now, you don't always have to draw these in, and I don't always draw them in. A lot of times I can just visually see them. But you got to know, are we contracting like we were here? Right? Or are we expanding? Why is that important? It gives you the magnitude, the potential magnitude of moves. Okay, once it only takes two. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you know what the potential is. So the potential is from here that you could get way down here, right? Or if you're down here, once you've had at least 2 touches, you know that the potential magnitude is to get way back up here. Right? And you can even go back while it's in these, because it was in this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Okay, broke out on the 5th day. So while it's in that range, it may be 3 or 4 days or 5 days or a couple of weeks, right? Or on a bigger time frame, it may be months. But if you know whether you're contracting or expanding, it helps. It helps you. Okay, so that's BA. BA today moving down, which makes sense because we know right now what type of a range we're in. Let's look at some other ones. I'm just looking for things that are catching my eye. I think CGC sold down today. Let me look. Yeah, it did. Gapped up and just sold down. This would have been a moneymaker. Man, I'm not paying enough attention to CGC. I used to trade this thing all the time because it makes you so much money. I'm telling you right now, that move right there would have made a ton of money. Any day that you get 50 to 75 cents in CGC is a very profitable day. Very profitable. And this is way more than that. 15, 20, $1. This is $1. Okay, so anybody who would have caught this move this morning, or even, 2/3 of it or whatever, they would have made really, really good money on CGC. Again, I keep telling you guys this over and over again. If you don't know what it is, CGC is a high beta stock, BETA, high beta stock, which means small moves pay big money, right? Small moves pay big money. Now, small moves that go against you can do the opposite. It's always give and take, right? So if a small move is going to make you a lot of money, small moves can cost you a lot of money if you don't have your stops placed properly. But that's why I've always loved trading CGC. And it just seems to stay that way. Like some stocks, their beta kind of floats, there's times that Apple is a high beta stock. Now, it's usually not going to be as high as, like, say, a CGC, but normally they say anything 1.5 to 1.8. So if you look up beta on your platform, if you have, most platforms have it, so you can see what the beta is. If it's 1, less than 1, a little over 1, that's pretty average. That's normal, okay? When you get to 1.5 to 1.8 or higher, then they're called a high beta stock. You start getting over 2, that's good. 2.5, wow, okay? CGC, and I can look, but CGC, I believe, the last time I looked was like 3.4, 3.5. That's like incredible. And again, that's one of the reasons I've frequently traded it in the past. Anyway, okay, so that's CGC. Thought there was something else I wanted to talk about with CGC, but no. Let's go through here. All right, just because we're going down through here, let's look at pound yen, because I know our buddy Cathal has been playing it. So here's where Cathal caught his move yesterday, right here. Good for 71 pips. Then today, he got a similar drop right into the same support area with a hammer, and it did bounce, okay, but then it came back. I can see it's kind of been whipsawing. Look at that. That's total whipsaw. So Cathal, I don't know. I know you're watching. Did you try to trade that today? Did you go long here, or did you not take it today? Let's see, from here, that's 92. So that little move right there could have got somebody 18 to 20 pips. Okay, good. So you got 10 pips. That's what I was just going to say. Somebody, I mean, this total move was 18 or 20 pips. If somebody had good risk management, which Cathal did, he came out positive. Good. Great job. Okay, but then after that, you guys can see this. Let me stretch it out and it'll make it easier. Make it a little bit bigger for you. All right, so here was the hammer after the strong move down. You entered right there. It goes up. When it starts coming back on you, you either have a trailing stop or a manual stop, meaning you're going to put it in. You get out. He made his 10 pips. All right, so 10 pips is good. That's an acceptable scalp every day of the week. You do 3 or 4 of those in a day, 30, 40, 50 pips. That's a heck of a day, right? But then from there, look at this. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then back up. That is the definition of whipsaw right there. That is the definition of whipsaw. All right, gold not doing a whole lot today. Although I thought JNUG might have made a move, but let's look. It might have been pre-market. Yeah, so pre-market, I know it was. I'm not showing the pre-market. It gapped up. That's where its move was pre-market. Then it went up a little bit more, and then it sold back down. So gold's just sort of flat today. See this? This is where it closed yesterday. Look where price is right now. So it's relatively flat. That's JNUG. Okay, Microsoft. Microsoft was one of the ones that I had on the watch list for the premium gang. The reason being, let's take a look at it. The reason being was it had an inside day yesterday. Right here it is, okay? Let's make it bigger so everybody can see. Okay, there's your inside day right here. And it's what we like, right? To me, my favorite kind of inside days are dojis and spinning tops, or a hammer, or a shooting star. Okay, those are my best, or my favorite. Okay, the market's heading up. We're going to go back and take a look at it here in a second. Okay, but this is why I put this on the watch list last night. Some of our popular names, there were several of them had inside days, and we got the gap up, and it's been positive all day. Okay, it's pulled back a little bit now, But let's see here. It opened at 174.30 and it's been as high as 176.74. Okay, so that's it's $2.40 move from, oh, that's not even including this. Okay, it's had a bigger range than that, but open to high, about a $2.40 move on Microsoft. Okay, so that's good. Let's look at Netflix, which is again had another nice day. Okay, here it is. It actually broke above our trend line. It's coming back a little bit now. But look at the moves. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Now, what do we notice? Let's pay attention here. What do we notice about this move? Does everybody see it? Big, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. You guys see that? We're also getting quite a ways away from the 20. So we start putting those things together. What does that tell us to be on the lookout for? Right? When we see those things, what should we be looking for? At some point in the near future, we're probably going to see a pullback. All right, now is that going to be tomorrow? We don't know for sure. All we know is look at the magnitude of the move. All right, it's been a big move. It started right here, but we went big green candle, pretty good sized green candle, a little bit smaller, and a little bit smaller. Candle structure matters, right? We're running out of steam here. The buyers are running out of steam. And we were, right? We got right up to the trend line yesterday, and we sold back. Then we gapped up today, we went higher, and we're pulling back. We've got just about an hour and a half left in the day. If this thing ends up a shooting star, today, tomorrow might be a good short if the market also goes along with it, right? You gotta weigh all the factors. But I'm just telling you, if you look at the structure, know where you're at. We're right at the top of this trend line. Long extended move, far away from the 20. The 20 is also above the 200. There's just a lot of things telling us that at some point here in the very near future, a pullback is likely. Okay, where are we likely to pull back to? You guys should know it by now, right? You take this whole move, take this entire move, divide it into 33, 50, well, actually be this way, 33, 50, 66%. Divide it, and that'll tell you where you're likely to pull back to. Now remember, I'm on a daily right now. I'm on a daily. I want you to remember that. So that move might take a couple of days to happen. It could happen in one day. You usually fall faster than you climb. All right. NVIDIA, this is one that we had on our watch list. And why did we have it on our watch list? Because we had what? An inside day yesterday. Inside day. So here, sort of based, rallied. You could say this is a one candle base, but we're on the daily here. Sort of a spinning top. I'd like to see that have a smaller body than it did. Okay, but it's still close to a spinning top. And then boom, we got the gap up and go. Gap and go. So from here, we opened up at 287.08. And it's been as high as $299, so almost $12 of upside from where it opened. You guys see why this stuff is so powerful. Okay, Pepsi. Pepsi may have fizzled on us today. Let's look here. Okay, Pepsi may go inside, right? Inside day yesterday has not been able to take out either side. May go inside. If that's the case, then it really better be on your watch list for tomorrow. Okay, what are inside candles that mount up? They're a contracting triangle, right? I can just draw it for you. If we go inside, get down here like that. If we go inside, that means that the range is contracting. Energy's building up. And at some point, it's going to break. And then what do we look for? Okay, and then we start looking at trend. We look at candle structure. Let's drop down to maybe an hourly. Let's see if we can see it better on an hourly. Okay, here's the hourly of what we just looked at. Okay, there's the hourly of those 3 candles that we just looked at. 1, 2, 3. Those are your 3 daily candles. Up to the top, back down towards the bottom, almost got here. Now remember, for whatever reason on Thinkorswim, if you draw your lines in on like a daily, when you go to the lower time frames, the trend lines are never quite right. Okay, but on the daily, I tried to draw it to where it was touching right there. So in reality, it should be from this candle. I can adjust them. Let me just do it. Let me draw it in. Why talk about being right when we can be right, all right? And then up here, it would be, let me remove this. It'd be from the top of here, right off the top of there. Okay, so you see what we're doing. See, we're contracting. So at some point, we're going to expect, that's why I say, if it ends up another inside day today on Pepsi, you really better have that on your watch list for tomorrow. I'll just leave this on here for now. Okay, so that's Pepsi. The Qs. I know the Qs were on our list. Back to the daily. I'm going to try to get in the habit of kind of covering more of what we talk about in the room so we can see it. Inside candle yesterday. What did we do? We took out the top right there. So the top was at 211.83, so you could have went long. I give myself a little bit more room. I know some people just a penny or two. I go about 3 to 5 cents. So for me, an entry would have been 211, let's just say 88. 211.88, and then we made a high today of 214.37, right? So that was well over a $2 move on the Qs right there based off of our inside candle. We love that. Okay, now what are we doing here? Okay, now because it's an inside candle, we're starting to expand the range to the top. We haven't expanded it to the bottom yet. Okay, I'm not going to draw it in yet, but here's what you watch for. So tomorrow, if for some reason it starts to come back through, that's kind of the terminology, we come back through the range, then you're going to see, does it take this out? This right here. I'm not saying it's going to take it out tomorrow. I'm just saying if it starts that way tomorrow, something to keep in mind for the future is, are we going to take that out? That would then start creating a broadening triangle and would start giving us a range expansion. Some people call it price discovery. You may have heard that term before. Okay, but these are the kind of things you look for. So the Qs, again, the Qs gave us what we wanted. That is a spinning top. I like spinning tops. I like dojis as inside candles. For whatever reason, they seem to give you the best moves if you break them. Why? Well, not only does an inside candle show you like indecision or equilibrium, a doji or spinning top by definition means indecision or equilibrium. Okay? All right, so that was the Qs. Let's look at Regeneron. All right, Regeneron, it's had a good day, right? We're on the daily there. It wasn't one of our watch list. Let me go to the 30-minute. Get in a little bit closer here. Okay, gapped up, and really, look at this. It's just been a steady climb the whole day. That'd be a nice momentum day trade. This is what would have scared me, though. If you got this move and it came all the way back to the 20, I guarantee I would have stopped out. Other than that, I guess you could have took it right here above the hammer off of the bounce And then from there, it probably would have been fairly easy to stay in until maybe right about here. But that would have even got you a pretty good move. Let's say 526 to about 533. So that would be what, $7 move, about $7. Okay, Roku, and let me see. I want to look and see where were we on the daily. What did we have? Okay, we actually had an outside candle. We had an outside candle on the daily, and then we really blasted to the top. Really blasted. Gapped up and just went. Gapped up and went strong. Today's range is $17. $17 range today on Roku. And you can see it's not abnormal. It has big ranges every now and again, right? Okay, a couple more. Shop. All right, so Shop was our inside day. It was on our list, I think. Right? Inside day. And why would this be nice? Because we closed right near the top, but it was still an inside day. So then you're really excited to see it break to the upside. And it opened, it gapped up, it kind of pulled back a little bit, and then it shot back up. And from open, 508.50, the high was 529.13. So $21 from the open to the high of day. Now, you probably would have got out somewhere before that, but that shows you the potential. And this was another inside candle that closed. If you're not going to have a spinning top or a doji, you love to see them close. So if you're looking for a short, right, you'd like to see a candle close down near the bottom. And then the next day, if you take that out, man, I mean, that's just a beautiful setup. That's just a beautiful setup. All right, spot, Tesla. I think Tesla maybe went up and pulled back. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so Tesla, this is on the daily. It actually gapped down, and then it went up, and then it's been pulling back. So let's look at its range. Opened at 716.94, basically 717, and it was as high as 759. I'm just trying to make the math easy in my head. 60 to 20 would be 40, and then 3. So about $41, $42. Okay, from open to the top, but now it's pulling back. Okay, that's Tesla. Tesla's got, man, a lot of conflicting news out there. So last night, I'm just laying in bed and I'm flipping through channels, and I come across, I don't even know what channel it was, but it was some kind of news, because I don't really watch the news unless it's financial news. So I come across some channel, and it was news. They were talking about Tesla building these new factories, these huge state-of-the-art factories. Okay, so that's positive. But then they also were talking about how Tesla may be in trouble because they're forcing workers to work in these COVID-19 conditions, and I don't know. There was all kinds of stuff. So you'd get good news, and then you get bad news, and then you get good news, and then you get bad news. So it was a little bit confusing. They did have a nice ramp up here, even though they gapped down, but now they're pulling back. So if you're brave enough to trade Tesla and you're going to pay those high premiums, there is money to be made, but you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Let's look here. See if there's anything else. Walmart. Yeah, Walmart's having a good day. All right, so Walmart, here's what I liked about Walmart. Okay, what was it setting up for? A 3-candle pattern play on the daily. A 3-candle pattern play on the daily. And it worked. Look at this. It worked. So you take the top out here at 129.88. So your entry is going to be around 129. maybe 129.93 for me. Maybe you'd be at 129.90. Depends on how aggressive you want to be. So you're going to get your entry here. And then where did it go to? Well, it went to a high of 132.49. So basically 132.50. So 130, that's like a $2.50 move. That's a good move on Walmart. But what I liked about it, again, was on the daily, it was setting up for a 3-candle pattern play. I love the fact, you guys just follow me on this, because if you have a bigger wick up here, I don't like it as much, right? Because what is the safe play? You got to take out the top of the wick. I like it when it has a longer bottom wick when we're looking for a 3-candle pattern play to the top side. I like it more like this right here. Okay, that's technically a spinning top. It's close to a doji. Okay, so we have our indecision, and it's up in the upper 25, 30% of this candle. It's a clear resting candle. So that's what I liked about Walmart. You take that out right there, and then you know that it's going to be similar in magnitude to this. It's actually been bigger. It's even better, right? Okay, you knew that it was going to be similar in magnitude to this candle, and it's actually been bigger. But that's just a beautiful daily 3-candle pattern play right there. If you see those kind of things when you're searching your charts at night, the best time to search your charts at night, the best thing to look for at night are daily inside candles or things like this. Hammers, shooting stars, potential 3-candle pattern plays setting up on the daily, things like that. So those are what you look for at night. In the morning, and we're going to talk about that here very quickly, in the morning is when you look for your, what I call small account growth plays, right? Those are the things that have unusually high volume. They have a news catalyst. They have a low float. There's a bunch of different things that could go into it, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. All right, so let's go back and look at the market. We'll see what the market's been doing since we've been going through these names. All right, back here. All right, here we go. Okay, we came up. I heard my alert go off, so I knew we got up to the top of the range again. But look what we did. Got up to the top, and we've bounced back down. Right? So other than this little, poke out right here where we dropped right back in, other than this range has just continuously been respected. We haven't had the sharp breakout yet. Okay? If I scroll back like that, again, you can see it. These wicks, that's fine. Okay, here we thought, okay, maybe we're getting out of here now, but then it turned around and dropped right back in. Okay, so technically we're still in this range. Let me expand this back up for you. So coming back, and we got less than 4 minutes to go on this candle. All right, so now I want to look at, I'm going to go to CODX. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so CODX. So this was one of the ones that I traded this morning. It had news. Let's look. Let's see what the news was because I don't even remember right now. Got to come back to the morning. It was coronavirus news. Okay, coronavirus news. So down here, you can see this news coming out before, had to do with saliva samples. So they have a test kit where they can check for coronavirus by your saliva. So I kind of thought, that may be, you're mixing it with coronavirus and it's a test kit and it makes it easier. I sort of thought that might be something to trade. So let me show you the pre-market. Now this one, I got to go to equities. Turn it on. Apply. All right, get rid of the news. All right, now you can see. All right, so here was the pre-market. Here was the pre-market. So the first trade that I took was when we broke the pre-market highs, which was right there. And you can see it very quickly popped up. Now, remember what I told you was on this first trade, what happened? It bounced on me. So my original price target for take profit was 11.85. So that's where I have my cursor right now. In fact, let me make this bigger for you. All right, so I took the trade here when it broke this, broke the pre-market high, got a nice move, and this candle got a high of 1170, and my price target was right there. That's how close I was, okay? And I even felt like I was being conservative. So where did that come from? Let me show you. All right, it was this. Is it this one? This one? Where was it? I just got to find right here, 1194. This wick right here. I can even make it clearer. This wick right here goes to a high of 1194. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be conservative. So I put my price target at 1185. Find it again. Basically right there, okay? So I'm 10 cents away, 9 cents away from the top of this wick. And I thought, you know what? If we break here, which is the pre-market high, I should be good to get up within 9 or 10 cents of the top of this wick. And we get this quick move, up. And then let me go back to the 30-minute. Okay, then we get right there, 1170, and boom, it just dropped. I mean, it dropped. And I went from having some nice profit to barely holding on. I think, like I said, I think I made about 8 or 9%. It was right around 10, maybe a little bit less. I was able to get out, okay, before it like all went away, but I was up pretty nice, and then I got a drop, okay? And I thought I was being conservative. So again, you can't always predict when you need to get out. You just have to be ready, and you got to get out quick, okay? Or you have a trailing stop, or you set a manual stop, okay? I didn't. I was just doing, mechanical stop. I was doing it manually because once it got up there, no matter what, I was going to take my profit. I was going to take my profit no matter what. And then I figured if it did pull back, I could re-enter on a pullback if I got a signal, because I figured that it was going to break higher. My target for the day was that I thought it would at least get to 1250, at least. Okay, as you can see, it ended up getting all the way up to 1366. That's way higher than even a lot of people I know who trade this name thought it would get to. Okay, this is not something I would normally trade. I was only trading it because of news. And there wasn't all the factors in place to be able to put it in the room. Okay, like I'll show you my scan here in a minute. Well, actually, it's not going to be accurate now because it's during the day. But my pre-market scan only had about 10 names on it today. So like THMO, which we're going to look at here in a minute, that was on there. That was on my pre-market scan. So then what I did is I waited, and we got the pullback, and then it started back up again. All right. So I took the trade on, let me get out of here. Oh, I never ended. Oh, okay, there we go. Almost ended the stream on you guys. Sorry about that. I took the trade on Webull, and I did it on the hourly chart right here. Okay, we had an inside candle. And remember, on Webull, it's automatically a reverse hourly chart. Look down here again, you see 1030? Okay, they do the reverse hourly chart, which I like. on the reverse hourly chart, we had this inside candle, which also happened to be a resting candle. These factors start to add up. Also has a longer wick to the bottom than it does the top. Okay, I like that. So what I did was up here at 1150, when it broke 1150, the high of this candle was 1149. When it broke 1150, I got in, right? And then it came up, and this candle here, it then started to reverse on me. Okay, it had a nice pop, okay, up here, and actually it's this one. Yep, it's this one. So this one started to pop. It got up to around 1218. I can remember exactly. Then it started to pull back. When it got under 1210, I'm like, I got to get out. I wanted to try to ride it to 1250, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Hang on one second. I'm refreshing. There we go. Again, it's this one. Yep, this one. So it got up to 1218, which is right in here. Then it reversed and started to drop. So when it got to 1210, and I was up 51%, I'm like, adios. Okay. So I got out, it dropped all the way down to here, but then it bounced and went all the way up to here. But I can't know that, right? I can't know that in real time. So I have to take what I know. You know, I say that all the time to you guys is there's the only thing we really care about are realized profits. Unrealized profits don't mean nothing. Okay, you could be up 2,000% in an unrealized profit. That doesn't matter until you take that profit and it becomes realized profit. So when it went from 1218 and started to drop, because it went down to like 1211, then it bounced up to like 1216, then it went down to like 1210, then it bounced to like 1214, and then it was starting to go down, and I'm like, I can see the pattern here. And I was watching time and sales. They have time and sales right over here. All you got to do is scroll. So you can have this up on your screen with Webull all the time. And I was watching it, and you could see, because it shows you the last sale right there, okay, at the top, and see what it's doing like right now. It went from 34 to 27, now to 30, now to 28, 27, 31, 26. That's what it was doing. So it was working its way back down. So it went from like 1218 to 1211, then 1216 to 1210, then 1214 to, and I was like, nope, I'm out of here. I looked down at my profit. My profit was over 50%. I'm like, I'm good. Now, of course, I got out, and it flushed down, right? It came clear down here. So at the time, that was a really smart decision, but I had no idea that it would then catch. This is VWAP, by the way. Look how VWAP's been respected. I'm testing this from a scalping perspective. Only you guys know that. The premium members know this. So look at how many times it was respected. But still, I'm not going to let it pull, because what if this is the time it breaks through? I had over 50% profit. I locked it in. Now, where did it go to? I mean, let's just see where it's at now. Okay, let's go down here. I had the 1250 calls. Oh, okay. All right. So I had them from, what did I buy them at? Can't remember where I bought them at now. That's irrelevant. But look at where they're last. Last is all you care about. Don't even worry about the bid and ask. This is the last sold price, $1.45. Way higher than where I think I sold at 53. 53 and made 51%. So imagine if I was still in, I mean, and they were higher than that. I mean, look, this is where price is now, right here. Okay, look how high it went. I'll bet you when it was up there, it might even have been close to $2. I sold at 53 cents. I do remember now. I sold at 53 cents and made 51% profit. So, but I don't have FOMO. I mean, once I'm out, right? There's no sense in, folks who dwell on it. then the next time they're going to make a bad decision. The next time when price hits 12.18 and starts to drop, they're going to go, oh, I remember if I would have only held the last time, I would have made, whatever, 200 or 300% or whatever the case may be. And they hold, and then the next time it comes all the way down here and just blows right through VWAP, and they lose it all, and they go red, and then they kick themselves over that, and then they start to revenge trade because of that. It's a never-ending cycle. So you always make the smart play. You will grow your account just exponentially faster if you always make the smart play. All right? Okay, let's get back over here. Okay, right there it is. This is on Thinkorswim. I still use Thinkorswim for the charting no matter which platform I trade on. Let's look at oil. So obviously, and I think they already had the meeting, or there was supposed to be news coming out, or I thought it was at about 2 p.m. But look, it's still not doing anything. Oil has basically flatlined here. It's not dropping. It's not going up. Remember, I sold my USO position yesterday. I feel like it was a good move because it's actually lower now. All right, I sold it somewhere up around here, up around the trend line. Not the trend line, the support and resistance line. And it's actually a little bit lower, but it's really just sort of flatlined. I guess if you're trading it, we could go ahead and draw a rectangle in, because it is definitely ranging. All right, it is definitely ranging. So it would be something about like that. Don't have to be exact. Again, you're just giving yourself a visual representation to go off of. There, if you're somebody who trades oil, now what are you looking for? Okay, now you're looking for a sharp break up or down out of this range. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so that's oil. I don't think ES is doing much. Oh, here we go. See, came up and now it's starting to work its way back down. Starting to work its way back down. So we are still range bound in a contracting range. For those of you who are on, is there anything you want me to look at? Okay. Or is there any trades you took that you're really happy about? I know several people were trading today. Let's go. I'll see if there's something we haven't looked at that we might want to. Oh, we haven't looked at Euro USD today. Okay, Euro USD. Remember when we talked about it yesterday? We talked about this big drop. Then we got this nice bounce. Where to? Right to the 200. Back down. Where to? Right to support. And we bounced again. The 20 held. Okay, this wick went up there, but the 20 held. Back down, back up. Excuse me, back down, back up. Then we had another big drop down to this level. Actually, we almost got all the way down here. Put this hammer in. Oh, that is what I was going to show you. We were going to look for some really good hammers. Put this hammer in, and it's went slightly higher. It's got back up above, and right now it's holding here. So is this going to be a break, retest, and go? We're not sure, right? We're not sure. So let's just see. See if we see any on here. The really, really clean ones, you're not going to see all that often. That's why they're usually so good. Okay, right there's a good one. Now, it went up, it came back down, probably would not have stopped you out. Okay, because this, you would have flushed down, then you would have came up, then you opened here. Okay, that's how I know it went down first, because you opened this next candle right here. You went up, came down right there, and then you took this bigger move up, bigger move up. So even if you had your stop like right here under the body, it probably would have been about right there. You wouldn't have got stopped out, but that is a really nice hammer right there. Shooting stars are going to be exactly the opposite, just flipped upside down. This is not. This is not. Why? This wick, I personally want it to be 3 to 3.5 times size of the body. And that body's a little big, a little big. Okay, here was a range breakout. I don't know if we drew this on a live stream, but look, there was a breakout right there. Cathal says he's in EuroCAD. So let's go look at EuroCAD. Okay, here's EuroCAD, which recently was up into supply, penetrated, came back, hit it again, and it's been dropping. So Cathal, are you in it to the short side, or are you, how are you trading it? Can let us know. But obviously, it broke a trend line right here, got above the 200. See how it broke above, came back, retested the 200, and then it was off to the races, up to supply. Okay. Bounced down, bounced back up, and then it's been moving down. Here's a nice break, retest, lower. See it? Break, retest, lower. And really, that's what happened here. Okay, broke out of supply, retested it, and then went lower. And then structure on the way down. See the structure? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. You got this big flush down. And then it kind of came back up here, which technically is still lower high. And now we're moving back down again. Okay? And Cathal is still in. Cathal is still in. All right. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to cover. I told you guys I was going to try to keep it a little bit shorter today. Okay, we're still not doing much here. I don't know if there's really anything else that I'm wanting to try to trade today. If something came up, I would let you guys know. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. So scan. All right. I don't even know if it's going to show anything right now. Oh, yeah. Okay, so during the day, when you bring the scan up, it brings up a lot of names. But when I do my scan pre-market, it typically only brings up 10 to the high side 20 names. I'm looking for things with unusual volume. And unusual is sort of relative, so I want you to know that. There's a couple different ways that you can gauge unusual. So when I do pre-market, before about 9:10 to 9:15, I only have 25,000 shares or above. Okay, because believe it or not, that is kind of high early in the pre-market. Then the closer we get to open, I usually bump that up to about 100 or 125,000 or more. Now, you may still think that sounds low, but for these small account growth names, they may typically only trade, a few 100,000 in a day, or even 1 million. Okay, but they're usually not going to have hardly any pre-market volume. You will still get the names that have the millions and millions of shares pre-market. So if something shows up on my scan and it's got 1, 2, 3 million shares of pre-market volume, you better believe I've got my eye on it. Because there is definitely a reason, and it's probably institutional money or big whales of some sort have noticed something or know something. I'm not telling you that you should necessarily do this, but you should definitely keep an eye. If you ever see a name, it happened a few days ago, and I can't remember what the symbol was. If you ever see a name pre-market that has like millions of shares being traded pre-market and there's no news on it, somebody knows something on the inside. And I'm talking about like institutional money. They know something that nobody else knows. You should keep an eye on that. Because the one I'm thinking about the other day, it just went parabolic right out of the gate. It traded millions and millions of shares, and it was something that hardly traded. I'm just making this up, but maybe it traded 300,000 a day on average, and it was trading millions, like 3, 4, 5 million pre-market. Opening bell came, and I didn't have it on my list because I couldn't find any news. And if I remember right, it wasn't a low float. So what does low float mean? So low float, again, that means the amount of shares available to the retail public. So when it's low, when the float is low, there's not that many shares available to the retail public, which means the price is usually going to be way more volatile. And on those names, we're looking for the quick pops out of the gate. Those are typically not names we're going to trade all day long. I hope everybody understands that. Okay, I hope everybody understands that. Okay, so that's what that means. These small account growth names that I give you in the mornings, that I started giving you in the mornings, we're looking for quick pops out of the gate. We're not going to trade them all day long because I'm just telling you right now what happens with most of them. Well, let's look. Okay, let's go to THMO. This is one that I gave you this morning. All right, and what happened? We took out the pre-market high right here, and it bounced 60 cents. Like it opened below, which is, we love that. We want it to open below the pre-market high. It opened below, so it opened here, flushed down, and then bam, it took this big run up. If you got in here and then sold up around here, even when it started to pull back just slightly, you would have made about a 60-cent pop. Right, about a 60-cent pop. Now you're going to mostly place shares on names like these. A lot of these names either don't have options, or the options they do have they're going to be priced in increments that don't make sense, and they're not going to be weekly options. They're going to generally be monthly options. So you don't play options on these. You're going to play shares. That's why I only look for 2 to 10, $2 to $10 basically. All right, so this one you would have been getting in around 8.14. So to buy 100 shares of that, right, would be $814. To buy, 1,000 shares would be $8,100. But a 61-cent pop, right? A 61-cent pop, that's going to make you some money. And it happened quick. All right. So that was one. But, that's what I started to talk about. This is what typically happens, though. Once they make that initial pop, they just sell back down. See that? Pop and sell back down. Let's look at Bed Bath & Beyond. It didn't really give us what we wanted. Okay, didn't give us what we wanted today. It had a little bit of a pop, and then it sold back down. And then it never got back over its high a day the rest of the day. So we're trying to catch the ones that are going to, and Bed Bath & Beyond, believe it or not, it's a bigger company, but it's a low float company. It was on my scan. We just didn't get the pop we were looking for. I'm trying to think of some others. Let's look at Pixie. Pixie was one I missed yesterday, and I apologize, because yesterday, okay, this is yesterday. This is today. Okay, this is yesterday. Remember, I had to go pick my wife up right before open. So this one never appeared on my scanner until right before the start of the day. That's why I wasn't able to alert you, because look, right before the start of the day, the last 30 minutes of pre-market, look what happened. In fact, let's switch it to like a 5-minute. Give me 1 second. Come back over. Come back over. All right. So here it was, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, the last half hour. The last half hour yesterday before the market opened, it had this huge ramp, and look at this volume. Okay, remember the dotted line is 3 times average volume, the dotted line. and it was trading 12, 13, what is this number? Almost 14. This one here. Okay, and look, it was trading that kind of volume pre-market. Then it came out of the gates right here. It opened below, that's what we want. We want it to open below the pre-market high, take the pre-market high out, and then it ramped all the way up to here. So that was 853 to 1098.97. Okay. And this is 5 minutes, 5, 10, 15. In less than 15 minutes, it went up by a couple of bucks from where it took out the pre-market highs. Because this is what happens. When you take out the pre-market highs on these names who have catalyst, who have unusually high volume, this is unusually high volume for the pre-market. Okay? See that? That's unusually high. News catalyst, unusually high, low float. When they take out the pre-market highs, they generally pop. Look at this. You almost never see a gap during the day. Look at this. It gapped from here to here on this 5-minute candle. Bam. Went all the way up to here, and then this is what's normal. Whew, sells off. Okay? Now, some of these like hardcore professional scalpers that this is all they do, they'll try to play this right here. They look for pullbacks to like VWAP or the 20, things like that, and then they'll try to play another bounce. Okay, we're just looking to catch one bounce, and then that's it. You move on to something else. Then once you get to about 10:15, 10:30, then you just forget about names like this and you start looking at all your regular names. Okay, that's when you look at those. So anyway, I just wanted to show you a couple of those. Let's take one last look at the market and we'll wrap it up. Let's see where we're at. Whoops, got to go to the 30. Everybody sees the same view. Okay, here we are. We came down. Okay, came all the way down almost to support here at 27.71. Caught us a bounce. We're back up to the moving averages, but we're still within our range. So just make sure tonight in this last half hour, you just kind of watch it. I wouldn't trade it the last half hour, you know that. But just watch it. It's going to break. It's going to pop at some point, whether that's up or down, we don't know. So everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow is a Friday, so tomorrow at 2 we'll be on YouTube for the free public live stream. But I will see you guys in the room a little bit later this evening, and I will see you tomorrow morning, and I'll be giving you some watch lists to take a look at. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Thanks.